What's up, everyone? Welcome into Duval Daily. I'm Jack McFaul. Hope everyone's having a good day as your Jacksonville Jaguars was a frustrating one, 20-12 this past Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks. Um, Really frustrating game. That it feels like it encapsulated, all of the Jaguars' issues that have plagued this entire season, and really stuff that's been problems for what seems like years at this point. Definitely a tough one to watch, and even just watching the broadcast, the vibes and energy at the bank it didn't seem to really be there for most of the game, which is disappointing. Although I mean I can't blame the fans. It was definitely not one to get really excited about. So yeah, let's look at some numbers. Let's crank some numbers and look deeper into where this team stands right now. So before getting into the specifics of each side of the ball, I want to start out as usual by addressing penalties, these constant penalties that have become extremely concerning. It really is honestly hard to believe that this team is 4-2 when you look at some of these numbers because they are extremely alarming. As of right now, the Jaguars are second in the league with 52 accepted penalties, first in the league with 34 offensive penalties accepted, first in the league in pre-snap penalties, which is those illegal shifts, those alignment issues, and then this isn't penalty related, but 16 drops so far in the season, which is insane. I mean, I have no words. That is insane. Um, And, I've tried to give them the benefit of the doubt for it being early in the season and having to get used to this very complex Liam Cohen system, but that's not valid anymore. That excuse is not an excuse anymore. 10 penalties on Sunday is ridiculous. They've played 6 regular season games at this point, and it hasn't gotten any better. And in some ways, I feel like it's gotten worse. So, got to figure that out. It's plaguing them. It's hurting them. It's the reason, one of the many reasons that they lost this game, and it's got to be figured out. So, with all that being said, let's look directly into the offense. So, this is the first week so far that I really don't have a pro to talk about on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, I guess if you had to say one, you could say Brian Thomas. He went for 90 yards and the touchdown, which you should have had 2 scores if Travis Hunter lined up correctly, which they go with the pre-snap penalty garbage. But yeah, I mean, I guess he played well. He had the one drop on a perfect throw that killed momentum, which is very frustrating. But comparing that game especially to his games at the beginning of the season, he seems to be kind of finally finding that groove. He's making catches as he's getting hit, which is something that he seemingly was concerned about, and we were concerned about with, his, uh, I guess, scaredness to absorb that contact when trying to catch a ball. So if he kind of is finding that groove, that'll be a big help down the stretch for sure. Um, Yeah, and I mean, as for the rest of the offense, bad, very bad. Um, this is the worst offensive line performance that Travis had to put up with in his entire career, which is really saying something considering some of those teams that he's been on. And it's really deflating how that happened after how well they've played leading up to this game. I think the Robert Hainsey injury didn't help, obviously. I mean, you lose your starting center, you got a rookie in there, a 6th round rookie. Um, but I mean, that's still no excuses. You can't use that as an excuse. 7 sacks and 39 pressures according to PFF. 39. Um, you cannot win a game with the quarterback being pressured that much and being behind the sticks doing penalties seemingly every single drive. There's not a single quarterback, there's not a single offense that would succeed with those circumstances. Yeah, you can't win a game with that. I mean, it's as simple as that. Yeah, that needs to be cleaned up because they will not win a game if they don't clean that up. And Seattle has a good front. You know, they do. They mix up the pressure well. They have good players, but I mean, if the Jags don't figure out these offensive line woes with the penalties, they're screwed. I mean, that is how it is. They're going to play good fronts. That's just how that's football. Every team has at least one player that's good up front, you know, and some teams have multiple, like the Seahawks. And yeah, you got to figure that out. You know, in this game, there was no run game either. Across everyone that ran the ball, 19 rushes for 59 yards, which is 3.1 a carry. I sound like a broke record, but again, you're never going to succeed if that's the case. So I mean, yeah, just not much more to say. It was just a horrific display of football on the offensive side, and yeah, I mean, one to forget for sure. Looking into the defense, there is one real positive, lone positive, which was the run defense. The Jags have been great against the run all season, and this game was no different. Kenneth Walker averaged 3.4 a carry on 10 carries, and Zach Charbonnet averaged 2 on 12 carries. So, I mean, those were silver lining for the game. This defensive front remains elite against the run, even without Trayvon Walker, who was not in for much of the game. You know, with that wrist with the club, he didn't play many snaps. So even without him, they really looked great against the run, which is a positive, something to be happy about. And then looking at cons for the defense, it really is everything else. I mean, there was zero pressure on Darnold all game, all day, which was really disappointing because I felt like before the game, and I actually brought it up on my Instagram, that pressuring Darnold would have or was going to be the X factor in this game. He's shown so many times that he cannot handle pressure in the pocket. He freaks out. He can't do it. Like he will throw picks. He will take sacks. He'll get strip sacked. He'll make bad decisions. Like that is how he's been, even with how well he's played. And it didn't matter because no one showed up to play on the front when it came to rushing the passer. Um, and the big plays too. I mean, the offense has been pretty good with big plays, or excuse me, the defense has been pretty good with big plays so far. But no, I mean, not against the Seahawks. They had those two 60-plus yard completions, one to Smith and Jigba, one to AJ Barner. The one to JSN was on Greg Newsome, which isn't the best thing to see, isn't the best news. And I don't think this was the issue, but I just want to bring it up. You know, obviously he didn't have much time to learn the scheme, and he was in on that play and he gives up that bomb, and it's, you know, if he doesn't know the scheme well enough yet, he shouldn't be on the field. Like it's that simple. And I don't want to put it on the coaches because I don't think that was the issue there. I think he just got burned. I honestly just think that's what it is. But like, if he is not comfortable being out there and doesn't know what's going on well enough yet, he shouldn't be out there. You know what I mean? And again, I don't want to put it on the coaches because I don't think that was on them. I really think he just couldn't keep up with them. But yeah, I mean, just bad. How about JSN though? Wow, I mean the Seahawks got one for sure. He's an all pro in the making, no doubt. I mean, that one route he had against, I think it was Buster Brown on the sideline where he completely spun him around. Um, Insane. I mean, he's phenomenal. There's no doubt about that. Um, and then finally, looking at the special teams, Cam Little, man, what's going on? What's the issue? A missed extra point and a missed field goal, which was 4 points left on the board alone, as well as the 2 points that were missed out on because the offense had to go for two. And it was a stupid run call up the middle that was never going to work with the way the offensive line was playing. He was never going to get in. So yeah, I mean, I still have confidence in the guy. He's an incredible talent. He's that monster leg, monster leg. That was his first extra point miss in his life. Um, but we are not in a position right now that we can have an inconsistent kicker. We have too many other problems, especially on offense. We can't have a kicker that's missing kicks. We need that to solve itself, and I think it will. Again, I think he's a great kicker. I think maybe he hasn't really had struggles in his career ever. He's having them now. He'll get through it. I'm very confident he will. Um, Logan Cook had a good game. I mean, he punted 8 times. So, he better have, and your punter having a good game, quote unquote, isn't necessarily what you're looking for. If he's punting 8 times, that's not what you want. But he had that 160-yard bomb. He's the only real player right now, I feels like, that we can trust to be consistent, unfortunately, which feels like it's been that for years, unfortunately. But yeah, that's how it is right now. Um, and looking ahead, the Jacks have the Rams in London, possibly without Puka Nacua, which is big news. That's very big news for that defense. But they need to get right. They need to fix these, self-inflicted mistakes because if they do, they can beat anybody. I can truly, completely believe that if we just cut down on these penalties, actually call it the football, um, just operationally, we're a better team than we are right now. We can beat anybody. We can be one of the best teams in this league. And I'm confident with this coaching staff that that will happen. But this past game against the Seahawks wasn't there, and it's one to forget. And I hope that's how the team sees it. I hope that's how the rest of the fan base sees it. I know that's how I see it. Um, yeah. So, I mean, thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Um, Tough week for us Jags fans, but it's a long season and we still have so much ahead of us. Um, yeah, so thanks again for tuning in and go Jags.